Hi, I'm John. Okay.
You gotta do it like, hey guys, what's up?
Right.
I'm John. Hey fellas.
Oh, like men?
Yeah,
You
like
gotta
men.
Hello, my name's John. Hi, I'm John. I'm with the channel Dirt Patch Heaven, where me and my wife have gone out RVing for about 5 weeks now. We are fairly new to this game.
Sweet. I'm Mike, and our channel is Norp and South. We've been on this trip for about 5 months, and we have 9 kids in our RV. So, you know, that's pretty cool. And I don't have a nickname.
My name's Mike. I have a lot of nicknames, but we're not going to go over that right now.
None of them are appropriate.
My wife and I have a channel called Living a Good Story. We also have a blog or a website called livingagoodstory.com. And we did a 1-year RV trip starting in August 2015, and it ended 5 weeks ago in September of 2016. So we are in the process of transitioning back to living in a stick and brick house.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we all have different viewpoints because of where we are on our trips. I'm done. 5 months, 5 weeks. So at this point in time, what do you guys think are some of the things that you thought were going to happen? Maybe some of the preconceived notions you have that didn't, but also what are some of the pleasant surprises that you found on your trip?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
Dang it, I shouldn't have messed that. For me, I think I actually expected more technical difficulties than we've actually had. So I was really worried about, because I got on this Facebook page of lots of people who do this, and there's all sorts of horror stories about everything that can go wrong. And so I was really pretty stressed at the beginning. But it actually hasn't been that bad. We've had a couple snafus here and there, but it's really been it's been fairly smooth. What else was there in that question?
What have you liked about it that you maybe didn't expect?
I've really liked, I just, as far as traveling in general, I like seeing new places. I like that our family gets to see new places on a regular basis. That's really been good. I guess the one drawback that I kind of expected would be bad, and really actually is kind of hard, is just the small space that we're in, because for us, and I think everyone who does this lifestyle, you transition from a house to an RV, it's a smaller space, and that's hard to get used to. I think as a man, and I'm not sure if it's just as a man, but I kind of like my personal space, and I don't get much of that anymore. Just kind of sad for me. But there's always people around. I know, thank you. But there's always people around. There's always, like, I can't just, Mike and I have talked about this, I can't just walk from point A to point B. You have to dodge like 3 people on the way, or some other thing that's in your way. You're just not free to move through the space, and that can be hard, and it can be kind of, your nerves can get a little frayed from all that.
Yeah.
So,
how about you?
I think Michael just kind of nailed every one of the points that I was thinking. Watching the videos between your channel and a couple others out there, it looked to me like, okay, this is going to be just, not saying you guys in your channel said this, but it was like, oh, this is going to be just wonderful and graceful, and you go to all these pretty places and see these beautiful views, and so I think the fuel consumption kind of caught me a little bit by surprise. It takes a little bit of gas to move from point A to point B. But other than that, I think we've been pleasantly surprised, because I too was fearing breakdowns or horror stories, and so far that has not happened yet.
I know.
am knocking
we also
curb.
say that, like, so far.
Yeah.
Because who knows what tomorrow brings, right?
Exactly.
The horrors that might come.
Right. You find us in a
grandpa.
well.
We've had plenty of horror stories, so that did not surprise
No,
me.
that,
I think for me the biggest surprise was I thought I would have a lot more free time. I planned on writing an album. You know, I brought my guitar. I was going to have my guitar album done by the time we were done, and I would have my book done by the time we were done. And while I am still working on those, and I probably will have my album done by the end of November. Thank you, brother, to my brother.
Your actual brother, or is this like a brother?
No, my real brother.
Okay,
we
so
didn't
it's not like
have
your brother.
I didn't have that much free time. It wasn't that much different, even though I wasn't working 60 hours a week like I was before. You know, going out and going on hikes, and there's still dishes, there's still dinner, there's still chores. It's not. I had this idea that it was going to be a 1-year vacation, but it was 1 year of living just in a smaller house, right? And with cool backdrops and cool places to go. So that was the biggest surprise. I think one of the biggest. What else was I supposed to talk about?
I don't remember.
Well,
I
and
forgot.
that's good.
I don't even know what we're
and
talking about.
if I can add into that too, because your job changes. All of a sudden, you are the planner. You're the one who has to figure out
Yeah,
okay,
that's
where
true.
where are we getting this, and where do we get groceries, and so that had become between that and researching to figure out where you're going to go has been amazingly time consuming.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd be working more on our channel than we are.
Yeah. One other thing that I found that I was surprised about is the people and what a big part of our lives they played. We were leaving a great neighborhood and a lot of good friends, and we're closer to some family here. And I didn't really consider that people would play a big role. I thought it'd be more of our family, and it turned out pretty quickly that became a big focus for us. We started actually camping places where there were more people because we wanted to have that interaction, and we felt like that was important for us to meet people. So I think that was another surprise was how many great friends we made, and even family and friends that we were already friends with, like we became closer to them as we visited them and got to meet with them. And you just realize that most people, I think, are good too. I was expecting to be scared in different places.
Right.
Like I thought I would be more worried about my family in parks and campgrounds and stuff, and I felt like people were just better in general. Like I think we focus on everything that's on the news, and most people are good.
Oh, that's so nice.
But we had a lot of breakdowns, and so I'm happy that these two have not had to deal with that.
But you're hoping we will eventually. Just
No, I don't.
even the
In the
scales
back,
out.
I don't want that.
a little bit. So
Generally, for us, I don't think Marissa did the black tank or the gray water very much, unless I was not around or if it was an emergency. Would you agree with that, Marissa?
Yeah,
I'm not supposed to
there were a
talk.
few times.
She's not there.
She's not there.
I'm not here.
Well, boys, Marissa never helped.
We can say whatever we want because they're not here.
We have some, like, I think that I always did the sewer and the water more than anything. I always hooked up the water and sewer when we pulled in.
You always
Leveled
pull.
everything.
You always pull the trailer. Did Marissa
I don't
ever
think
drive?
Marissa ever pulled the trailer.
Okay.
How about you guys?
Yeah, that's the same for me.
Yeah.
We just all the technical stuff I pretty much take care of with the trailer. I don't. Megan has no interest, and I like doing that stuff too. I mean, it makes me feel like a man when I do that stuff, and that's important for me. So, because nothing else does. What?
You're not supposed to talk.
yeah, you're not here, remember? So
I am technically a man, so I probably should do manly things every once in a while. So I feel good when I pull the trailer. I feel good about like all the stuff that goes into setting it up that I do, because I don't know. But I do wonder if I should teach Megan more, because like if I was to be really sick or something like that, you know, we'd be told we wouldn't be doing anything. We'd be stuck.
I did worry about Marissa having to pull the trailer if we ever had to, but it never happened.
and let's see, we are in a 20-foot motor home, and so it's not a little bit bigger than just a big van. So Julie has driven a few times for us, but as far as the setup and takedown, that's usually what I've done as well. And repairs, if there's something inside, screw needs turned or something, that usually falls on me.
Good job.
Yeah.
turning the screws.
The heater works now. So,
Sweet. Doesn't it feel good to fix stuff?
Right?
I love
It does.
fixing
It's like,
stuff.
I'm a
I
man.
wouldn't know.
Not just technically, I'm a man.
I fixed a few things I'm proud of. Also, though, I will say for us, I do the laundry as well for us. So it's not all just like strictly technically man stuff that I take care of. So laundry. Megan does cook for the most part, but
I only didn't even know how to turn on the dryer until like 2 weeks ago.
yeah. She's like, so what button do I push? So
I did most of the cooking, I think,
see, I
for
don't.
dinner.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Marissa was in charge of more of the homeschooling, I think, and making sure the kids were educated. And
Neither of us do that.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm thinking of is for Marissa and I, the first probably month, we had some really good experiences in the first month, but it was really hard. And it was more because of just adjusting to the lifestyle, adjusting to not having much, adjusting to the space that we lived in, and adjusting to being right up in each other's face all of the time. So I feel like maybe about a month in, we started to hit our stride in that regard. And about 5 months in, we were like experts. Like we really didn't have to think about anything, and we were really doing good and having a really good time. I mean, everything wasn't perfect, but it was a lot better. So I'm wondering like where you guys are in that stage. Do you guys feel like that you're starting to hit stride? Did you have that happen when you started, and where are you at now?
For me, I still can't really stand to be that close to Megan, so. No, I'm kidding. Well, for us,
That
I
was
do
really
think.
awkward for
I felt
everybody.
like I asked a really good question and you just ruined it.
Sorry, no.
Hey,
go
welcome
back
to
to-
my life.
Where's these voices coming from? We're just met at a table.
We're just hanging out
The women
here.
that aren't
It's just
here.
guys hanging out. I don't know what's happening.
Just
This
the
conversation
dudes talking.
going and random
For me, I think it was in the beginning. We were definitely, it was stressful because yeah, it's an adjustment. So that's always stressful. But Megan and I know we actually usually like to be within 10 feet of each other at all times because and that's actually not a joke. We're pretty close because we like to. I don't know why we always like to be around each other. You had been working
Yeah, that's true.
away from home. When Megan and I started this, we'd been home together for like 2 years at that point, I think.
That's a big
So we were
difference.
kind of used to being with each other anyways, but it was still an adjustment. It was still stressful. And I feel like now it's definitely less stressful. Like it's more just kind of every day. This is what we're used to. So I think everyone goes through that. I don't know what you guys are.
Well, for me personally, I annoy my wife because I'm always wanting to be next to her, and she has a bubble, and so she's usually tending to be in the back of the RV while I'm up at the front, and
So you're like 20 feet away from each
yeah,
other.
pretty much at all times,
Yeah.
and
It's okay.
so
Keep talking.
I
She's not
haven't-
here. You can say
right,
anything you want.
exactly. And so
Now's your chance.
So for me, that has actually been a pleasant change. It's like, oh, we're just kind of all right here within arm's reach, and hey, if you know, and so I think that's been more difficult for other members of my family than myself. But
So as far as what we're concerned, we have a good group of people as far as how many kids we have, and so they all have different personalities, and some are definitely more extroverted than others, and sometimes some kids need some space or some time by themselves. And so like Esther, for instance, we do this, I think we've done it 2 or 3 times where we will go on an outing and she would just stay here for like 5 hours on her own, and she loves it. Does she love it? She loves it. I mean, she's usually crying when we get home, but I think she loves it.
She's like her nails are chewed
Yeah.
down.
You can see the claw marks, so we have to lock her in because we can't let her out. So.
No, we come home and she's beat.
No, when we come home, Esther's like in the best mood ever because she just needs that time and that space. Most of the kids are that way. I think Elijah's a little bit because he's 15 years old and he's a teenager. So sometimes I think he has also gotten times where he's by himself. So that we've had to realize, like, okay, sometimes people need a little more space to themselves at different times. So
I married my wife to make sure to have my wife right there at all times, or as often as possible. And being as there are different personality. She is not that way. She prefers, okay, give me a little bit of room. I have to go work. I have to go do this over here. I have to do something.
So Marissa does our YouTube channel and the editing, but she does it late at night, and so usually I go to sleep. She'll do it while I'm sleeping.
Whoa, that's
and
cool.
then in the morning, I usually will get up with the kids and kind of make sure everything's okay. So she will be able to sleep in a little bit longer.
Like noon.
Try to make up for that.
3
gonna
or
say
4
when.
in the
Oh, okay.
afternoon.
Don't-
I'm not going to say when, but
Okay.
which is fine. Like that seems to be working. So
Okay. So for us, yeah, we have the YouTube channel as well. Obviously, Megan does the editing because that's what she's good at, and I have no idea how to do it anyway. So I'm not good at it because I don't know how to do it. And while she's doing that, which is typically, we've been kind of going back and forth. Sometimes she does it in the evening or at night after the kids are in bed. She's been trying to do it in the morning because when we were doing it at night, we were staying up till like 2 in the morning trying to get everything done. Mostly because we'd sit there and wait forever for it to upload. But, so what I would do while she was doing that would be sitting there next to her, watching her do it. But when Megan is working on that, I do try to, especially during daylight hours, I try to make sure the kids aren't like bugging her, because I know what it's like to work on the computer and be trying to get something done, and the kids are coming in and out of your room and like asking you questions. So usually if it's during the day, I'll take the kids swimming, or I'll put a movie on for them so I don't have to do anything, but try to keep them occupied so that basically she can get that done. Because I would expect the same thing, because there are times when I'm doing stuff on the computer, usually like surfing the internet, and I'm like, Megan, keep the kids away from me, okay? I'm busy.
Right.
And she does it for me, so,
Yeah. For us, I think the schedule that has worked out best for us is when we're on the road. We put the girls down and they start doing homeschooling, and that's when Julie opens up the computer and starts editing video. That seems to be the easiest for us, where everybody is doing their thing and everybody is so calm and subtle, and all there is the noise of the road going by. So
That way it's ready.
go ahead.
That
Tell
way
me
it's
what my
ready
line
to
is.
upload when we get and we just.
so while you're driving, she's doing it.
Yeah, I do all the editing
exactly.
while we're driving.
That's great.
And that way it's ready to go as soon as we pull into a camp spot, or as soon as we find Wi-Fi, boom, and the video's there.
yeah.
So we can
That's nice
upload
when you're both
12
in the
videos
same-
at a time.
You're both in one vehicle, so only one person has to
Marissa would
drive.
get car sick when she'd try to do that, but it was in a car usually,
Right.
not in.
Well, and
Well-
you guys are both running 2 vehicles, aren't you?
Yeah.
So that's
We should say that the fact that a conversation like this would never happen in real life. It's nice and quiet here, we're just talking.
right.
No one sees all the children that have been hovering within like the,
Yeah.
the
Like,
bubble of
I
this.
could touch 6
like,
children right
they're
now.
all just off camera.
There's one down here.
They're
There's one.
crawling around.
No,
Right
but it
here.
also
and the
wouldn't
cue
happen.
cards in the background.
No, but it also wouldn't happen in typical life, right? Because you would all be gone at work.
Right.
That's true.
That's true.
So Mike has become much more involved in our family. And like I think he says it's hard to have the personal space, because even when you're at home, you're in the mom role. I think moms are already used to having kids all over them all the time.
Yeah.
But then when dad moves into an RV, suddenly he gets a little taste of that little piece of like kids all over him, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. Although they still gravitate toward you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to be around me, then you got to be around the kids, which,
Well, that's the problem.
give and take.
Or I got to
Sure.
kick them out. Like dad time with mom. Get out, kids. Not that.
You know what
Anything
I've
going on.
forgotten about living in a fifth or an RV or whatever is the swaying motion that I've
Oh,
experienced. Like
Constantly, yeah.
the first time it happened when we were here, I'm like, "What's going on?" I forgot about it.
You did?
Yeah, I was like, what?
Already.
I'm like, "What's going on?
You've
How come the
lost-
spider's moving towards me?"
You've lost your sea legs.
And then I realized it's because we're on wheels. What's you guys' favorite thing about living in an RV? What?
I have to start.
No, I can say it.
Well, let's go from oldest to youngest as far as RV living goes. Actually, how old are you?
Well,
Yeah, might be.
I'm 41.
37.
We're kind of old. Oops. When do you turn 38?
January.
Oh, so not on Thursday? Okay.
Sorry.
Then I'm older than you.
Is your birthday Thursday?
I didn't want to put that in there, but yeah.
By the way, we
didn't send gifts?
Yeah, so we do need some gifts for Michael.
Yeah. Can we get this up before my
Send them to
before my
me.
birthday? So,
I know it's still recording.
It's funny because like if you asked me at different parts of the trip, my favorite thing's different. Right now, my favorite thing as I look back is it was the thing that was the heart. What was that?
did she just like have gas right there? What did she do?
Like a big flow of air.
Okay, you go back in the room.
Take two.
They're gonna think that was me.
I don't think enough.
We are 41. Things are good.
I am 41. I can't even eat a sandwich without getting sick.
Okay, a different.
Game faces.
Cut. Okay. So my perspective changes throughout the whole trip. Well, what my favorite thing is, but like as I'm sitting at home now, every once in a while I get a little antsy and I want to go see something cool, or I want to travel. I want to feel the asphalt as it goes beneath my tires. You know, I want to feel those things. But that's not the thing I miss the most. It's the fact that it was the thing that was hard the first month, and it was the fact that we were all together all the time. I miss a lot being with my kids all day, every day, and I don't get that now because we have school and lacrosse, and I have a job I'm working on, and Marissa's doing different things. So it's the fact that we were always together and growing together and being together. That's what I miss the most.
For me, I think actually that might be my thing too, because I was just actually listening to a podcast about the kind of the importance of family relationships and sibling relationships, and it made me realize like we're together so much that we're really growing together a lot more than we would. I don't think I realize it because I'm right in the middle of it, and you know how it is. Whenever you're kind of in something, you don't see it from the outside very well. But I really see like the kids getting closer together. We just are getting to know each other more and more, and we're kind of growing together. It's not like no one is leading a parallel life right now in our family. We're all in this together all the time, intertwined, like literally, like physically. We're close, and so it's nice to know that we're all having these shared experiences all together all the time, and it's not like there's something happening, you know, outside of the family that is maybe taking the kids away from us, or making for experiences that are not related to the family. So I think that's my favorite thing. It is. I think it's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's the best thing too. But also as a second to that, I love going new places. I love moving day. Like I love that feeling of driving to a new place and kind of moving on to something new. Because Megan and I have always been that way. We're a little bit antsy, and I love that little addiction to newness is always being fed, for better or worse, I guess. I think it's better, but that's a close second to the time with the family.
And I think I've got to agree. I think that's the part I'm most excited about, is that I'm growing closer to my daughters and closer to my wife in this whole thing. And even though there's many days that are not wonderful, because we are, you know, independent, different people, and so there are fights that arise, and there's times that the walls start to feel like they do close in.
Yeah,
And
they literally do on this one. They come in.
Right? And
Push the button. Let's make that right.
but at the same time, it's something that I see it already happening. And 5 weeks in, and everybody the kids aren't fighting as much. They're learning to deal with each other, and it is making us closer as a family.
Awesome.
Awesome, that was great.
Okay, gentlemen, that was a good
So
talk.
how
Thanks
do you
for
video anything?
Okay, everybody smile. Like, you guys look at each other and like laugh.
That's too much, Mike.
Sorry,
Oh.
Shizzy.
I love it.